Hello. Oh, look, it's it.
Hi. Chef, I almost broke my hip sitting down.
52 has not been kind.
Wow. What a fun week it's been celebrating my 52nd birthday. I'm so much older
Still celebrating.
so much older than this guy beside me.
My hip's still intact.
He's a mere 51.
A Sprite.
If you
A
could
Sprite.
see the things I've seen through your eyes and this huge chasm of time between our birth dates.
You've done a lot of living. Thank you.
All right, this is Chris, Chef Extraordinaire. My name's Ed. We are at Old North State Winery. We do virtual tastings every week because we do tastings in person here. Not everybody can make it. So we do these so you don't miss out on the delicious things going on here every Thursday night at 6 p.m. And
Dan?
we never replicate the wines. So you get 200 wines a year in person, 100 wines out there, because you get 2 bottles every time you pick up. If you want to do it, give us a call, 789-wine, 789-wine.
Easy to remember.
336 there.
Easy to remember.
And you can set up a pickup time to do a virtual tasting list. And it's a lot of fun. And sometimes we have, here in person, we have guests. We have a guest coming next week from Catania. And we will have not this week, but the next week, we'll be tasting some extremely expensive wines from their limited portfolio of high-end stuff. Maybe it's not limited, but it's
I'd imagine it's pretty limited.
yeah, they might have a bunch of it. I hope they do. But our assumption is it's probably pretty limited with the price points we're talking about.
Comparatively, at least.
Yeah. And
Compared to their
we're going to do
other
a very,
selections.
very special price, very special evening. We actually will not be down here in the cellar like normal. We'll be up at the chef's table. And that works out great because we have a pharmaceutical party that night, right?
It's all Providence.
And then, of course, don't forget, on March the 7th, 2023, we have the Albert Bichot Burgundian wine dinner, thanks to this guy. And we're going to have some delicious wines, thanks to Julia Hunt from American Premium, hooking us up with yet another great wine dinner.
Another great one.
So many
Another great
things
line.
to celebrate and enjoy. And then right before we started our video here, Chris and I, it's getting down to crunch time for our trip to Portugal, and we're planning all these different vineyards that we're going to see in Portugal. We're there for a week, and we are going to make the most of it.
There will be a lot of visiting.
Yes, / tasting. Right?
Tasting.
Not just pinkies up. Just we're probably going to spit it out, right?
I have no intention of having more than you should in a tasting.
Right. Yeah. Okay, we'll go with that. So we're gonna have 2 delicious wines here for you in your video. These are really, we got one that's not so classic and one that's absolutely classic. And we have a couple other wines here in person. If you can make it on Thursdays at 6 p.m., we do 4 wines here in the barrel room. So here we go. We are gonna start off with a grape that is called Pedro Ximenez. This is not a dude's name, this is a grape's name. So Pedro Ximenez is the grape, and typically we see this from Jerez, Spain, and it is one of the sweetest wines that you've ever had. And usually you'll see, most people like it in the form of cream sherry, where they blend sherry with Pedro Ximenez to kind of soften the sweetness, or to bring the sweetness up of sherry, which is extremely dry. This is from Capitulo 7. This means chapter 7. This is actually, strangely enough, grown in Argentina, Mendoza. So we have a Spanish grape. When I think about Argentina, I think about all those French varietals.
I know, right? So
Yeah.
they're branching out.
And I was so excited when I tasted this. And honestly, I thought it was from Spain when I tasted it. And I did not know it was from Argentina until after we were discussing. I was like, oh, I really love this in a dry form, because this is a dry table wine. And then I found out it was from Argentina. That blew my mind. I didn't know they were doing stuff like that down there. So I want to thank them for that. and I really dig this wine. It's Spanish, yeah.
Very much so, but I mean, I mean, the nose is very Sauv Blanc. The flavor profile, and I'm drinking very Chenin Blanc.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
This is I haven't had a lot of Spanish whites,
Yeah.
so I don't have my repertoire. I have nothing. I don't have much to put it out. I've had white Riojas and a few things, but,
Yeah.
and some stuff, some eclectic stuff with you, but I don't have a library of Spanish whites to go.
Right.
Oh, it's just like.
Yeah. Once you get past Albarino, it's like,
Well,
what else is there?
of course,
You know. And
Well,
then
that seems like that's almost
Yeah.
like a breakaway province too. It's like
yeah,
they're
it is a delicious grape, and Vieira is the one that we call Rioja Blanco or Bianco, or I can't remember which one it is, but yeah, that's the one that is associated with that region. But you're right. You just don't really think too much about the whites. It's always red, and we love those. Of course, you've got the Macabeo and
that goes a lot of bubbles too.
and the bubbles, yeah.
yeah.
But they're almost always in
Yeah.
bubbles. You rarely see them outside of it. So Pedro Ximenez in a dry form from Argentina,
So
and
cool.
I think it's fantastic. So this, it's 75 degrees in February. Thank you, climate change. This has been the best birthday month ever. Usually I'm all wrapped up, complaining about how cold it is.
Just can't get in, and
Yeah.
now all
I've
the
been
flowers are blooming.
Riding around with the top down on my convertible and enjoying this beautiful weather, and this is the kind of wine that goes perfectly with that.
Could not be better for that. Tons of citrus and great salinity on this.
Yeah.
Minerality.
Big time. Yeah.
Just a really great wine. I mean, this is delicious.
Yeah, it's got a lot of elements of other wines. I mean, I even get some Riesling, like aged Riesling. A little bit of that kind of freezer burn thing going on that you get from a lot of times from like Austrian Rieslings and things like that. So there's a lot of attributes from different wines that are showcased in this wine. So this wine, I wouldn't say tastes like any one other wine, but it has a lot of things that are very familiar to, certainly to me and Chris, that we've had before. So we've listed Chenin Blanc, Sauvignon Blanc,
Aged Riesling.
Asian Riesling. So these are all established,
Great thing.
well-known things. You should be. I would say some Pinot Grigio, that lemon lime kind of thing going on.
Absolutely.
And there's a lightness to it.
It is a lightness, but it's a flavor lightness. Great lingering finish on this. I mean,
Yeah.
it's got it
This
all.
is like one of the.
It's everything you want.
We tasted this a couple weeks back, and I've just been kind of waiting for the weather to break a little bit to showcase it, because it was just really cold a couple weeks ago when we were tasting this stuff. And this was like one of the surprise wines of my tasting, not just because of the novelty of a PX, Pedro Ximenez, a PX that's dry, or the fact that it's from Argentina. It's just that it is freaking great. It's a great. I mean, I would think this would be a great market for anybody that likes refreshing white wines. Chef, what do you think?
Can't do better.
Yeah, what do you think you're gonna throw at this?
I want to do a Campacci ceviche.
Nice.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
all the citrus on this, the minerality,
Yeah.
that buttery Campacci, and get.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put some good lemon and lime on that with some olive oil. It'd be great. Maybe a little garlic and chili.
Ooh, yeah. Definitely. I think this could handle some spice.
Just a little bit, just some background. The citrus will. I think it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that.
This will be good.
Man, very good. So, you get the idea. This wine would go with those fresher style, certainly salad, seafood, cheeses too.
Jesus, absolutely.
Yeah, excellent wine, great value. Again, under $20, can't beat it. And it's probably a varietal that you're not going to be exposed to typically. So take advantage of this. I don't know how often it'll be around. I hope more often. Like, this is the first time I've run across it from Argentina, and I hope that they stay the course, because this really has a lot of potential, I think, in the American market.
Completely agree. You do have that little bit of hurdle with kind of a name of a wine, but yeah, I love how they're feeling so confident and the grapes are growing down there. They're
Yeah.
expanding their horizons.
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. So, a lot of fun. It's fun wine, fun experiment, I would say, that went really, really well. And
Yeah, tuna with this would be really great too. A little,
sure,
ginger or miso.
Yeah.
soy,
Yeah.
soy kind of thing.
Chef, we got that chef's table tonight. You're doing that dashi,
Dashi
with
with this.
scallops, and
Mhm.
although we kind of prefer a red with that, but I think this would work too.
It would work great, and the pork belly too with that. It's,
Because we've done Rieslings with
Mhm.
your dashi before that worked out great, and this has some of those elements that I think would work.
Absolutely, it would be great with that.
So a lot of versatility is what we're saying. This wine could pair with probably most
Jump all around.
Asian flavors. It could probably go with most of your salads that you can think of. Yeah, I
But
mean,
I wouldn't think twice about an Italian or Spanish
Sure.
pasta. Like a
yeah,
like a
Primavera
lemon
type
butter, a primavera, or
yeah. I made just
just like a parsley lemon garlic butter sauce with some
Yeah.
noodles and shellfish.
yeah. The night before last. Yeah, that was Monday, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
it's
it's
hard
been
to-
a blur. But yeah, I did a light pasta. Kind of like you're saying, just kind of veggies tossed. And the pasta was singing. There wasn't really a sauce per se. I did
pan sauce.
yeah,
Yeah.
pan sauce. And this would have been killer with it.
It'd be great.
Hmm.
And I love primavera. I love taking.
Sure.
Sometimes I call it like kitchen sink pasta. But
Yeah.
take all the veggie scraps and
Yeah.
some cheese and just
Yeah.
make a little pasta. It's a great way to get your veggies and a great way to.
Oh, you know what I
keep
did? I
things
did
organized.
just a few tiny little micro dollops of goat cheese on the top.
Oh, nice.
And because
That's
I didn't have a sauce, but I did have some. I had, like you were saying, kitchen sink stuff. There were some grape tomatoes that were getting a little
Well, they
iffy. And
purge into the sauce.
I
Yeah,
threw them in there because
Yeah.
they weren't going to make it. So
they purge right in.
that with the goat cheese and
Oh,
some
yeah,
baby
delicious.
kale,
Nice. Thank you.
zucchini, asparagus.
So I've been doing this dish. They used to talk about kale. I've been doing this dish. I think you should try it. I've been doing it at home a lot, and it's become like my favorite things. It's one of these one pan meals.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is take. I use mustard greens, but
Oh yeah.
kale or collard, anything
Yeah.
like that. But I use the mustard greens.
All the greens are good, aren't they?
They really are.
Yeah. The older I get, the more I appreciate
I just
greens.
love them.
Yeah.
So I take the greens, stem them, toss them in olive oil and red pepper flakes.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Set those on the pan. And then I take chicken thighs and set the chicken thighs on the greens. And you can tuck the greens to where they're not sticking out. So
Okay.
all the chicken, and these are bone in, skin on chicken thighs.
Right.
And they cover all the
You're
greens.
talking about raw.
raw.
Like they haven't been pre-roasted or
No,
nothing.
these are raw. And they're going on top of the raw greens. They're just tossed in the.
Oh, okay, I got
The
you.
greens are raw. They've been tossed in the olive oil and roasted pepper flakes.
Okay.
And then I do a little rub on the chicken fat, salt, pepper.
You need some flavor.
Yeah, and I think I used a little mustard too. I think I put some mustard and olive oil. So
Like ground mustard or Dijon or something like
ground.
that.
It was like a deli
Yeah.
mustard.
Yeah.
Throw the whole pan in the oven.
Let it
An
rip.
hour, 15, 20 minutes till the skin's crispy.
Mm-hmm.
Take it out, set it on the just on the stove or the counter. All the juices and the fat from the chicken seep in and cook the greens.
Yeah.
And then the skin is just so crisp,
Yeah.
and the meat's falling apart.
Right.
But all those pan juices, so you basically just take the whole thing, put it in a bowl, and then pour all the juices back over it, and you just have at it.
Right. Like
Doing
family
it.
style.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, of course, you can separate it and serve it,
Sure.
but it's best to just.
Yeah.
I've been doing that every week now.
Are you just using like one of those was it 9x11 type?
just a
casserole
cookie
thing?
sheet, not
Yeah.
even a casserole.
Oh, on a cookie sheet.
Yeah, that's doing a
Yeah.
cookie sheet.
Well, I guess the greens soak up all the juice,
Soak
so
it
you don't have
all.
to worry about it running over.
And whatever does run over, I mean, it's the like we have
It's
here.
got a lip.
Lip on it, yeah. So, and I've been doing like little variations of that. And,
Yeah.
I mean, it's great.
Hey,
it's great.
there's cooking tip from our chef
There
right
you go.
there.
That's one of the
And
one
it
of our
sounds-
favorites at home.
It sounds awfully easy. You can
Well, that's
walk
what I
away
love
from
about
it.
it. Yeah, it's
There's
like,
probably a good grace period, like in terms of it being overcooked. Like you can
oh,
probably
you're fine.
you'd
As a
be
matter
like,
of
"Oh, I
fact,
forgot."
The longer it goes, the better it gets.
right.
And really, I do a 2 temperature. I started it at 250 for an hour, and I went and worked in the yard and had some things to do.
Yeah.
Came back in, turned it to 350 for about 15-20 minutes.
To get
Did a few things around the kitchen, the house, and when it was done, I mean, it was perfect.
yeah, just to get that crispy.
But I did a lot of stuff. You know, I did a beer braised beef with vegetables. I did a vegetarian tamale pie. You know, where you know, you normally do ground beef or pork or something. I just did vegetables. I did onions, peppers, broccoli, black beans, tomatoes, and then Mexican seasoning, whatever. And then I topped it with cheddar cornbread and baked those
Oh
up.
yeah.
And then I made this is another great soup. At the store they had butternut squash already chopped up,
Mm-hmm.
which one of the reasons I don't like doing the winter squashes is because by the time you cut them up,
yeah.
your trash weighs 36
Seeds,
pounds.
Skin, yeah.
It's just a mess. So I was like thrilled. It was this big thing of just raw
They
butternut
did all the
squash.
work, yeah.
And then over on the that little cart where they throw all the special stuff that's getting ready to go,
Yeah.
they had a big thing of apples. So I got 6 apples for like $1.50.
Apples are expensive.
I know, and there were 6 for $1.50.
Yeah.
So I cooked the butternut squash with some curry, finished it with the apples.
Nice.
Then I added some spinach, blended it all up. Beautiful little soup, a little yogurt, Greek yogurt.
Oh yeah.
It was
The
great.
yogurt's something that umami. You get that
Mhm.
right then.
It was
Chef,
delicious.
you're making me hungry.
I'll have to bring some tomorrow.
Hungry. Well,
He's hungry.
you got a couple of beautiful recipes.
And all
from
that, all
Chef right
4 of
there.
those meals, under $100.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
I mean,
can't beat that.
you got to keep your eyes open for product that's
Yeah.
on sale too.
And I got the beef on the sale rack.
Yeah.
They put all that. They throw everything that's getting dated. So I got this hunk of bottom round chuck or whatever.
Right.
Of course, I'm stewed it for 4 hours. What do I care?
Right.
I just
and
diced
you're,
it
and
up
you're cooking it that day.
that day, and
When you buy food like that, use it that day. Don't say, "Oh, I got a great deal," and stick it in your fridge because it's gonna.
or
die.
the free. Don't put it in the freezer. It's not. Go ahead and do something with it.
Yeah, don't
Put it in the
freeze.
crock
Don't
pot.
freeze old food.
Yeah, throw in the crock pot. Do something. Even
I
if
think
you
that's
just
what-
make stock. I mean, I could have just made stock out of it because it was normally like $38. It's like $12, and it was like a 3-pound chunk
Yeah.
of meat. I mean, you can't beat it.
No, not this inflation that we're in that we'll never recover from. Will always just be, everything will just be more expensive forever.
When I get my act together, I'm gonna do a video series every week on stretching your food dog.
That's a
do
great idea,
recipes
Chef.
with-
And with your following, you would get a lot. I mean, you might get it anywhere from, 40 to 50 views.
I don't know.
I mean, we're getting 20 to 30 here.
Mrs. Wishart joined TikTok,
Uh-oh.
and she's been doing little TikToks with her sewing stuff.
Yeah.
Her one last week had 48,000 views, 17,000 likes,
Oh my God.
and it's like everything she puts. I mean, I don't understand how that works.
She's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hmm.
So anyway, I'm gonna do a budget-friendly meals on TikTok. I mean, I'm gonna get rich and famous and sponsored by Hellman's or something like that.
I feel it.
We need to do budget wine pairings where we just cook and do budget wines.
Yeah.
And just to have a little separate thing where we do that, because I think it's a real valuable service too. 'Cause I think so many people don't know how to get the most out of their dollar.
Yeah, I agree.
And of course, I'm running a cafeteria over there, so it's you can't go out there and spend. You can't just do whatever
No.
you want. You got to plan. You got to shot. You got to.
They're not getting foie gras. Right?
Yeah, you got to be creative.
All right.
Yeah, they
well,
did a couple weeks ago. We had a tart left over from the chef's
Oh,
table. Yeah, and I
nice.
throw it in the middle and let them fight over it around.
oh, the strongest will survive
Yeah.
with the Wishart
Yeah.
household.
A little Darwinism there going on.
It's perfect. We do have a beautiful red from a classic region. It's Rioja from Nucerro. This, if you're into ratings and stuff, this did get a 95 from Decanter,
Sure.
which is a significant
Huge.
score. This is their Reserva
Huge.
level. This actually spent about 20 months in American oak. As you, chef, you can probably tell right away it's American
Absolutely.
oak. There are some modern producers now using French oak. I personally prefer the old school using American oak. I love the dill and the coconut that you get from it that you just don't get from French. So this is the 2017, and the 2017 was in many people's minds significantly better than 2018. You know, whatever. I think this is freaking awesome though, and it is a great value wine, chef. Under 30 Reserva Rioja, forget about it. Yeah, this has got so much bang for the buck. Now, of course, let's see, 2017.
That's like 6-7 years old.
Yeah, yeah. It's just a baby though.
I mean,
this thing can age forever.
it can, but I'm telling you, it's pretty silky right now.
That dill, man.
That dill's
is
everywhere.
banging. So I tasted this wine. I love this wine, and then the guy told me the price, and I love this wine. So I think this is a incredible value. Obviously, like most Spanish reds, it's packing some heat, and I'm not saying it tastes hot, but it has alcohol galore.
It doesn't taste hot, but you can just tell. It's
Chef, it's very integrated, beautiful acidity. Tannins are sneaky.
it's there.
They're not
Tannins
over
are
the
there.
top.
They're on the front.
And I tell you what, there's like the flavor just keeps going and going. It makes you want to keep like reaching for the glass. This is one of those I need more.
It
wines.
is. The
Yep.
first sip is deceptive because it's deceptively thin
Mhm.
on the first sip, and
Mhm.
but if you stop, it comes right back.
Yeah.
And it's got a long finish. It develops more
Mhm.
at the
Yeah.
end. So even though you want to keep reaching for it, the character really blooms just letting it sit for a minute. It's
Totally
delicious.
agree, Chef. That's a great assessment. There's more dill, lots of red, almost candied red.
Mhm.
It's like it is a bone dry wine, but the fruit is so intense it almost tastes like candy to me, which
Yep.
is a compliment. And also, it's so dry. I can only imagine how great this would be with food because it's just like it's just that to me. I always like a nice dry red with food because it just makes
it
everything
it
balances the palate
out, and I think it cleanses better too. So each bite is kind of new. Boy, that is absolutely terrific.
There's also some notes of minerality in here. Maybe like a little game in there. Maybe
Oh, yeah.
maybe some blood. Maybe
I'd definitely go along with the blood iron
Yeah.
component of this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
it's fantastic.
Absolutely. This
This is a wine that is absolutely stunning by itself, but I would imagine would be also just even better with food. I honestly, we do a lot of Riojas, and I think this is for the money, the best pound for pound fighter in the ring.
Well, and this is a very complex wine. You know, it doesn't immediately taste like Rioja, except for the dill.
Yeah.
To where I find Riojas can sometimes be overly dusty. This is a much fruitier expression of the grape, which I like. I mean,
Yeah.
I think some of those big Reserva Rojas will just
It's a little chewy.
chew.
Yeah.
They'll bowl you right over. Where
Yeah.
this is not to say this isn't a big wine, but I like the brightness of the fruit.
I agree, Chef. This has like we were drinking some. What were we drinking, like the 2018 Chateauneuf before we came
yeah.
down here, and we were talking about how plush that 2018 Chateauneuf was, which we don't typically think of that. This is kind of the other way, coming back down the scale for Rioja, and that's the interesting thing. So this is kind of if you like more of a, like Chef loves a more of a Barolo and Chateauneuf style, more of the medium palate weight, and this is more approaching that. So this is falling right into his wheel well as well as mine.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to single him out, but I'm just using this as an example that there are ranges within a particular region, different. This definitely tastes like Rioja, but there's every producer has something different, and every vintage has something different.
And that's the beauty of it. That's the fun of wine.
But this got a really high rating for a reason.
Because it's delicious. It's complex.
And I would, and to speak of Chef's point about how he would a lot of times expect this wine to be a lot bigger, and it's not. That tells me something that they're doing something right to get a high score in something that it would be kind of perceived to be different than the other Reserva Riojas. It's a compliment.
Well, it's a compliment
I'm trying to come
because
across
it stands out.
Yeah, it
And
stands
so
out.
too,
Yeah.
when you're showing your wines to these critics and writers and all these people, you know, you're really going, you're going down the line, you know. Yeah. I mean, even a delicious wine 8 times.
Sure.
The redundancy.
The redundancy. That's
Yeah,
right.
and so
That's the way I feel with beer nowadays.
Yes, yeah.
It's just like
That's why I
how
don't
many
really drink beer much
it's like it's the same freaking thing time and time again. There's not a lot of standouts anymore.
I've gone full circle, you know, to where I am now back to like a Heineken or a Miller Lite or a champagne of beer.
It's got to reset.
Just because you know I'm just so. I think I just had too many crazy funky beers, and I'm just.
Get back to traditional.
Just back to.
Yeah, I over the winter, which is probably the worst time. I got on a Kolsch kick because I was like, it's something clean, like
clean,
you know,
refreshing,
and hard to do well. That's what people don't understand.
Now that's a good point.
Kolsch's are
there's
hard
a
to
lot.
make.
You know, even a bad IPA is pretty good,
That's true.
but a bad Kolsch sucks.
Sucks.
I mean,
yeah, it's terrible. You are
Yeah.
so right. And I think the same could be said for Pilsner too.
Oh, even more so.
Yeah.
I mean, a bad Pilsner, I won't cook with.
You know, some of the, you know, when the whole IPA thing took off in the late '90s, well, at least late '90s around here, it's probably a little bit earlier out west. But you know, a lot of the purists are like, well, they're just hopping over the imperfections. Like they're it's like throwing ketchup on a burnt steak or something. And I never really got that, but now I do get that.
Yeah.
When you've had some precision beers, you see how easy it is to have faults, like you said, in an IPA because it's just like all you can taste is hops. You'll miss any faults in the beer.
And the hops are a histamine, so I mean
Oh,
they're gonna wreck your palate too. So I mean it's like, you know, you're really tasting texture.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I love those beers.
Me too. I mean,
don't take it wrong, but
I'm just burnt out on it.
Burnt out, yeah.
I mean, I'm just like I'll be 2 sips into one, and it's just like I poured. I think it's like a hazy IPA we have at home on the tap. Yeah. Oh, please, thank you very much. I poured like a half a beer after I was doing all that stuff yesterday. I don't think I even drank that half of a half. It's just weird. And then I saw my buddy Brian. We had a couple of highlights, and they tasted just like heaven. You know, just back to that.
What you
back to that, right?
The timing is everything on everything. So this is hitting you at a sweet spot because these are the style of wines you like right now. This is hitting me in a very sweet spot right now because
awesome.
I'm just like, I am so freaking ready for this wonderful weather we're having. Spring is sprung. All the flowers are out already. It's crazy, the things that are blooming right now.
It's good for everybody's spirit. I just don't like the flies being back.
Oh, yeah, not to mention the mosquitoes.
Yeah.
I mean, they're back.
They're back?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I had a mosquito in my wine last night. I was sitting there drinking, and Carolyn goes, hold on a second. She grabs my glass. She goes, that's a mosquito. I'm like, what the heck?
February 21st.
Crazy. But we're going to get through it with lots of wine.
Yes, indeed.
Chef, we've got a chef's table tonight, so we should probably
They're
we're
probably
going to sit here and drink.
Yeah,
We got a great table tonight. I'm really excited about that menu. Last Sunday, my gosh, how fun was that chef's table?
That was great.
We had some just really interesting folks, first timers, I mean, it was. We had
some people who were doing it, you know, return visit, and then people who just random as can be. And you know, just great camaraderie and a great vibe. It was a lot of fun.
What a great way to spend a Sunday night.
Yep.
Also, I want to thank each and every one of you for all the incredibly thoughtful cards and presents and just well wishes for my birthday last week. I was overwhelmed by the generosity. You know, I can't even begin to say. There's certainly some highlights. I can't even, like, the wines that I got were through the roof. I just want to say that. I mean, thank y'all for that. But, you know, that little Portuguese bag they got knitted for me.
Oh, that was so very cool.
So
it has the map.
Yeah, we're getting ready to head to Portugal. That was one of the just incredibly thoughtful gifts. My staff with all the Jeep stuff, and because I've gone Jeep crazy since I bought a Jeep. And you know, there's duck. If you have a Jeep, you're gonna get ducked because I have ducks galore to put on them. Anyway, it's just been just a really
fun.
Yeah, it's just been just really pleasant. But one of the great things about Sunday night during our chef's table, I say during, it started before and we finished after.
Mm-hmm. It lasted a long time.
Chef was able to allocate one of the 1,100 bottles made of this Zuccardi very special Malbec that received a 100-point rating. And so we opened it up around, 5 p.m.?
Yeah, it was right around 5.
And we tasted it, and we listed about 17 different things that we tasted in it. And then we left it there, and then people came, we did the chef's table, and we came back.
We're still sipping it at 10, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, and we came back and did final assessments on that bottle. And it was obviously a very rare bottle, but it was also a bottle that we cerebrally just went nuts with. You know, it wasn't just how good it was just like we just kept bouncing.
I've never had its equal.
Yeah,
you know, now I've had things I've enjoyed. You know,
sure.
At the moment, the celebration of time. You know, we were opening a Magnum of Barolo at Thanksgiving. You know, certain, but I mean, like just a pure, like you said, cerebral approach to what a wine, especially that variety.
We were like surgeons with just dissecting every inch.
And especially that varietal, which you don't expect that level of complexity from.
Yeah.
Which I think made it that much better than it was.
Yeah, it was.
And then we shared it together.
That was a lot of fun. And there was that. And I just couldn't get past the cinnamon buns.
The cinnamon buns.
And it just haunted me, cinnamon buns. But there was like 1,000 other things we listed. So anyway, that was certainly one of the greatest wines I've ever had, and I'm glad that we could do it together.
Well, it was a
great birthday week. Now one day, when you turn 52, way in the future, we'll have to celebrate with a wine that's, now can't be its equal, but something in the comparable region.
Yeah, but how about me raising that birthday bar? So now it's like, sorry about that.
You're like, all right, what you gonna do now?
Sorry.
How you gonna top that? Yeah.
That was great. Oh, but real quick, I know we're running out of time. I got the North Carolina bison short ribs.
We're doing we just get lost in conversation.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna do the bison short rib with the Robiolo cheese from Boxcar, that Italian.
Oh, the Robiolo's back.
Yeah, it's gonna be delicious. Do that with a little bit of the braised shorty.
Yeah.
It's all working.
Are y'all okay with braised bison? Oh my gosh.
And Campacci and local cheese.
Just remember, next week we've got a premium $75 tasting with Catania. The following Tuesday, Albert Bichon, the beautiful Burgundian producer. We got a representative here. We're doing a five wines, five courses. Yep. Amazing food.
Plus a little treat.
Plus treats. We're talking that following Tuesday. So we're gonna pack it all in for Chris and I head out for a week in Portugal. So
huge lineup.
Get it while you can. We might not ever come back from Portugal.
It's a legitimate concern.
Let's take advantage of it while we can. We love you.
Thank you. You'll have a great weekend.